I've always been a non-believer since childhood, and I think that's due in part to my being brought up in a Reform, super liberal Jewish synagogue, where at Sunday school they taught us critical thinking skills. How many religions allow their children that? Reform Judaism is one of them. And so thank you, Reform Judaism, um, for taking a more rational approach to the Jewish tradition. Um, so I guess that basically set my life up as a skeptic. I remember as a small child hearing stories about Jonah and the whale and Noah's Ark, and they're always put into a cutesy context with guitar, singing, and all. Um, but in reality, those stories, not so cutesy, I should say, but had to make it kid friendly somehow. And I tried really hard for a super long time to believe in God. I would I would blatantly just say, God, are you there? Can you hear me? Why am I not getting any responses? And that was the last straw, I think. When I first figured out that God is imaginary. Um, and I called myself agnostic for a long time because I bought into the idea that agnosticism is the only logical label. Um, because nobody knows. Of course, it it asks a different question of the individual. Atheism is a lack of belief in deities. And as soon as I figured that out, I'm like, yeah, uh, I'm an atheist. There's nothing illogical about calling myself an atheist because it's factual that I do not believe in deities. I'm telling the truth, just being honest. Um, and sure, I can say, "Oh, I'm agnostic too," uh, but I don't attach that label to myself any longer because, like, who gives a shit? Y'all have heard these arguments before. When the probabilities of there being the Abrahamic God up in the sky, those probabilities are incredibly low. Um, so, I mean, why fucking bother? Just call yourself an atheist. I'm pretty fucking sure there's no God. I kind of think I know there's no God. Like, I kind of know it just from just from life experience, just from observing reality, observing different world religions. It all becomes very clear once you start looking into it.